Hi, in this video I'm going to take you through the basics of how to use Gridmo. We're going to switch to the web app and get started. Right now on screen I have the web app. Web app is app.gridmo.io. It is where you'll spend a good portion of your time configuring or updating the tests that you want to run using the Gridmo platform. Right now I'm on the Projects tab. When you very first start Gridmo, you'll learn on the home page, but if this is the first time you've run, you won't see anything, just like I have on screen right now. So let's go to the Projects button. Okay, we can see we have 5 main tabs: General, Global, Flow, Scenarios, and Simulation. In this video, I'm going to take you through the absolute basics, and then we'll jump into some of the more cool and advanced features Gridmo has. On the General tab, we set the projectile and rate of active P of the project we want to configure. Let's do my first solar farm. And let's say it's a 250 megawatt solar farm. That project rated active power is used for things such as system strength calculations, SCR, etc. throughout the platform. So it's good to make sure you set it correctly for the project you're doing. We'll skip over the global tab for now. There'll be a video on that shortly. But we're going to start with the flow. The Flow tab is where you configure, using a drag and drop interface, the power system studies you wish to run. Power system studies in Gridmo are defined as a series of nodes, individual pieces of work, which are connected together to create a series or a run of simulations. To add a node, click the Add Node button, and you're greeted with a variety of different nodes. We're going to start with the Start node, the End node, and the PSSE static node. What I have on screen right now are 3 nodes. Those 3 nodes need to be connected together in order to form a series of tasks, which we will complete using the Gridmo platform. These little circles on the top and bottoms of the PSSE static and on the bottom of the start and the top of the end are the connection points between nodes. Click on one of them and drag to the other one and you create a little arrow. Likewise for the bottom one. Now these arrows will stick with the node as I move it around. In the Gridmo platform, those arrows, or edges as they're called, represent 2 things. They represent the transfer of information between nodes, but they also represent the order of nodes. That is, the order of power system simulations. This is a pretty basic example. We have a start node, we have an end node, and we have one PSSE static. So we are asking the Gridmo platform to run one PSSE static simulation. To remove edges, click on one and use the delete key. And to remove nodes, click and then click the delete key. You can zoom in and out like I am right now using the scroll wheel. You can pan around this flow by using either pressing and holding the middle mouse wheel or using your left mouse button to drag around. This little button down here, the fit view, will automatically fit what you have on screen. What you're seeing right now represents all the nodes that are currently available in Gridmo. Very likely more will be added in the future as we add additional bits of software. Every run kind of has some mixture of these nodes in it. The ones I'm highlighting right now using Shift and dragging a box are the power system simulation nodes. We have Siemens PTI PSSE static and dynamic, and Manitoba Hydro PSCAD we currently support. On the next row we have our output style or output nodes. We have plot and table. Plot generates a visual plot of time series data, and table outputs like a CSV. We have the note, which I'll explain a bit shortly, and we have the loop start and loop end. Loop start and loop end are a more advanced style of node, which he explained in a different video. So for now, I'll get rid of them. So what I have on screen now is one run. I'm asking the Gridmo platform to first complete a PSSE static simulation, then a dynamic and a PSCAD at the same time, and lastly, complete a plot once both the dynamic and the PSCAD have been completed. We can copy and paste nodes by holding Shift and dragging a box over nodes. Right-click, go copy. Left-click off. Right-click, go paste. And then you have a identical copy of what you selected. We can also disable nodes. For example, maybe I don't want to run the PSCAD simulation. Well, I could just delete it, but it's much more useful to right-click and go disable, which allows us to come back to it in the future. To edit a node, because remember, nodes represent the power system simulation we completed, double-click on it, and a window will appear on the right-hand side. There will be an individual video explaining how to configure and set up each of these nodes. But just remember for right now, double-click and then save and/or cancel to close it. The Scenarios tab we'll cover in another video, but Simulation tab is next. Once you have a run configured and you want to send it to your engine, you use the Simulation tab. This little description will both appear in the engine and in the output folder of what you want to simulate. For example, my first simulation. Priority, as I've selected here, is one of our cool features in the gridmo platform. If you have multiple users using your engine, you may have multiple simulations being scheduled perhaps across different projects. And those projects may have different priorities. For example, you want project X completed before project Y. Any simulations that have high selected in priority will schedule first before anyone's in the normal priority. Lastly, logs. We have 4 options here. Logs is generating output folders or files or information that helps you review or debug the power system simulation you completed. Our default is just log files. That will give you a PSSE log file, a PSCAD log file, and Gridmo's internal logging files to see what happened. A very cool feature is the standalone folders if you select that one. I do recommend that in the early days of setting up models, you do generate standalone folders. Standalone folders will generate an identical standalone version in either PSSE or PSCAD of the test that you ask Gridmo to run, which allows you to easily, outside of the Gridmo platform, review, test, check your models, or even send those to people outside of the Gridmo platform to say, this is the test I'm having issue with, can you help me with that? When you're ready to run your simulation, click the Launch Simulation button and enter your engine ID in the field, and then click Launch Simulation. It may take 10 to 15 seconds, depending on the size of your simulation, to schedule, and then the simulation will start running on the Gridmo engine. And that's the basics. Thank you for your time.